Hi, this is Maddie from Strike and Edge. So this class is going to be all about releasing the spine. So we're going to find twists and back bends, and I just want you to find all this lovely space in the body and in your spine. I also want to say that we're going to have a little bit of a longer Shavasana here, about 5 minutes. So if you love Shavasana, then you just go with it, you enjoy. But if you're one of those people who finds it a little bit tricky in Shavasana, you find yourself a bit fidgety, then I really want you to challenge yourself to stick with this. And I can advise that it can be really helpful if you cover your eyes. So if you have something like an eye pillow or even just a blanket or a jumper that you can place over your eyes at the end of class, then that can be really helpful. So if you want to grab those now before we get going, then you can do. I also want to say that if you do enjoy this class, then please give us a like or put us some comments down below. And if you ever fancy joining one of our live classes, you can see that on our website. I'll put all the links down in the comments below as well. I'll meet you back on the mat, and I hope you enjoy. So today's class we're going to start lying down on our backs. So we'll take ourselves down to our mats. Giving ourselves this time at the beginning. Just focus on the body. We can let the legs go out long. Or if you want a little bit of a hip opener, you can bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall apart. And I want you to close your eyes as we lie here. If it feels comfortable for you to place your right hand down on your belly and maybe the left hand up on your chest. Those hands there are just a focus, something for you to notice the rise and fall of your hands as you breathe. The eyes are closed. And just slowly starting to bring that awareness inward. Noticing how we're feeling. Noticing the inhale as the hands rise up. And then noticing the exhale as the hands fall back down. Slowing the breath down. Today's class is all about releasing the spine, twisting and opening, finding more mobility and space in the body. Next time we take a big inhale through the nose. And then exhale out through the nose. And then just gently starting to open the eyes. Letting the left leg go out long, keeping the right knee into the chest. You can interlace the hands around the knee and just start by squeezing that shin in towards the body. You can rock it side to side a little bit, getting into that hip joint. Inhale and exhale. And here, finding a nice gentle spine twist at the beginning of the class. We're going to guide that knee over towards the left, encouraging it down towards that left-hand side. You may feel a few little cracks or pops in the spine. It's just initial release. Inhale here, breathe into this twist. Exhale, deepening a little bit more. Next inhale, we'll come back up through center. And then let that leg go out long as you bring the left knee into the chest. Just gently starting to squeeze it in. Rocking it side to side, getting into that hip already. Inhale here. Exhale. Just stay, squeeze it in. And then slowly guiding that knee over towards the right. Releasing through that lower back. Again, you may feel a few little cracks. Breathing into this twist now. Inhale. Exhale to stay. And keeping moving, we're going to inhale, come back through center. And then this time I want you to bring both knees into the chest. wrapping the arms or the hands around those knees and just gently rocking side to side. Feeling that little massage on your lower back. And then starting to rock up and down the spine, forwards and backwards, rounding the back, rolling through each vertebrae. And then the next time we come forwards, we're going to cross over the ankles, roll over the feet, plant the hands in front. Finding our tabletop position, we might just need to walk back a little bit so we're more in the center of our mat. Knees under the hips, hands underneath the shoulders, fingers spread out wide. And then just here, I want you to find this little bit of a side stretch, so twisting through that midsection of the body, finding space in the ribs, taking the hips side to side. Breathing here. And then coming back to that neutral tabletop position. Finding our cat-cows, we're going to inhale, drop the belly down, lifting the chest, lift the chin. As we exhale, rounding the back, tucking the tailbone, tucking the chin. And again, inhale, scooping the belly down, lift the chin, roll those shoulders back. Almost feel like you want to pull those hands towards your knees. And then exhale, rounding the back. Really press them out away, finding space between the shoulder blades through each vertebrae of the spine. And again, inhaling, moving with the breath. Lift the chin, lift the chest. Exhale, rounding the back. We'll go one more time. Inhaling. Find a little bit more space each time we do it. Exhale, rounding. Coming back to that flat back. From here, finding a little bit more of a twist through that upper back. We're going to inhale, lift the right arm all the way up towards the ceiling, opening the chest. Even finding that hand, it might want to fall even further towards the other side, really opening that chest up. As we then exhale, we're going to take that hand, thread it all the way through underneath the left arm and reaching it over towards the other side. And then dropping the outside of that shoulder down onto the mat. The side of the head can come down. And then you can press with that left hand, just finding a little bit more twist through that spine. Just checking in with your hips, making sure that they're drawing back so they're staying on top of the knees. Maybe even the gaze can come up towards the ceiling. If you want a little extra here, you can walk that left hand, walking the fingertips all the way towards the top of the mat. If you tent up onto your fingertips and then feel like you're rolling that bicep back, so rolling that shoulder back, opening the chest a little bit more towards the left. You might find a bit more of an opening to look up towards the ceiling. Breathing here, inhale and exhale. Bringing that top hand back in front of the face, if it was there. We then inhale, press through that left hand, lifting that right arm all the way up and open one more time. And then exhale to bring that hand back down underneath the shoulder. Other side, we then inhale, lift that left arm up. Open that chest. Again, see maybe that hand fall a little bit further towards the other side. As we then exhale, taking that left hand, reaching it all the way through towards the right. See how far we can take that hand to the opposite direction. Placing that shoulder down, the side of that head comes down. And we gently press into that right hand that's in front of the face. Or again, if you want, you can walk the fingertips up towards the top. Tenting up onto those fingertips, rolling that shoulder back. See if we can take that gaze up towards the ceiling if it's available. Checking in, making sure our hips aren't falling over to one side. And then breathing into that upper back, into that shoulder. Inhale. Exhale to stay. Slowly walking those hands back in front of the face. We then inhale, press through that hand, lifting up one more time, open that chest. And exhale, bringing the hand back down in front of the shoulder. And one more time, we'll just wiggle through those hips, side to side, finding more stretch through the sides of the body. Coming back to our tabletop position, finding our puppy dog pose now. I want you to make sure those hips stay directly above our knees, and we just start to walk the hands out in front, starting to melt the chest down towards the mat. The forehead may come down, the top of the head may come down. I want you to think about opening up through the shoulders, releasing the core muscles to let the tailbone tuck upwards to find that opening through the chest. If you want a little bit extra, you can take the gaze between the hands coming onto the chin. But thinking about pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat. Breathing here, inhale. And exhale. And then slowly, nice and slowly, making your way back up to your tabletop position. Hands underneath the shoulders. One more time, taking those hips side to side. Stretching through the shoulders, through the ribs. Feeling a little bit more looser in that spine. And from here, we're going to tuck the toes underneath. Plant the hands, press through the hands and the feet, lift the hips up, finding your downward facing dog. Start with having a nice bend in the legs, pressing those hands down into the mat and feeling that spine lengthening up a little bit more. Make sure the neck is released, shake the head. Inhale here. As we exhale, we can start to draw those heels a little bit closer towards the mat. Walking through the feet now, drawing one heel down at a time. Stretching out through the backs of the legs. And then your next inhale, we're going to rock forwards to find a high plank position, squeezing the core. As we then exhale, we take the hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog. With these plank rocks, if you want to have a little bit more of this ripple through the spine, we inhale, start to come up onto the toes, lift the heels. And then start to feel like your back is rounding as you start to shift the weight forward. So you're really pressing through those hands, rounding the spine. And then as soon as we get to our high plank position, we can then bend into the legs, tuck the tailbone up, lift the hips, and rippling the spine back to your downward facing dog. If this feels a little bit too complicated, we can just stick with our normal plank rocks. Otherwise, we inhale, lift the heels, find that impulse to roll through the spine forwards, finding our high plank position. Then as we exhale, we bend into the legs, lift the hips, press the hands down to take ourselves back to our downward dog. We'll go one more time. Inhaling here, lift the heels, rippling through the spine, finding high plank position. As soon as we get there, exhale, bend into the legs, lift the hips, finding downward facing dog. From here, we're going to inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale to then step that foot through as close as we can between those hands, dropping the back knee down. We're going to shimmy that foot forwards, just making sure that that front knee is directly above the front ankle. You can untuck the back toes. We're going to inhale, lift the arms up. Finding this low lunge, pressing those hips forwards. We're going to bring the palms together up overhead. Try to reach those fingertips up towards the ceiling. See if we can even get those biceps a little bit further behind those ears, finding this back bend here. If it's okay in the neck, you can take the gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale here. As we then exhale, take the palms to the chest, elbows out wide, finding this prayer hands at the chest. Twist through the core. We're going to take the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. So twist through the core first to face the right, and then bringing that elbow to the outside of that knee or on top of that knee. Twisting through the spine now. Press that top hand into the bottom hand. Find a little bit more space in that lower back. See if you can get the belly away from that front thigh. And then your next inhale will unravel, bring those arms back up overhead. As we then exhale, start to take the right hand down towards that right hand side and reaching the left arm all the way up towards the ceiling, and then a little side body stretch over towards the right. If that right hand doesn't reach down towards the mat, either using a block or it can just reach down, it doesn't need to touch. Breathing here, inhale. And exhale. Your next inhale, come back up through center, using that core, lift yourself back up. Exhale to then place the hands back down, tuck the back toes, stepping back to our downward dog. Walking through the feet. And then balancing the sides off, we'll go through the other side. We inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale to step that foot through between the hands, dropping the back knee down. Again, making any little adjustments we may need. And untucking the back toes. We then inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, palms come together, press those hips forwards. Finding that little bit of a back bend here. We start to lift those fingertips up towards the ceiling, taking those hands or those biceps just a little bit further back, reaching back, opening through the shoulders, and if it's okay in the neck, taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. Pressing those hips forwards, breathing here, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, lifting a little bit more. As we exhale, we bring the palms at the chest, elbows out wide. Finding this twist now. Start to twist through the core first, facing the left, and then that right elbow comes on top of or the outside of that front knee. Pressing that top hand into that bottom hand, twisting through the core a little bit more. Making sure we're not hunched up in our shoulders. That top shoulder is rolling back away from the ear, keeping space in the neck. We'll then inhale, unravel, lift the arms up. As we exhale, take that side stretch. Take the left hand down towards the ground on that left hand side. Again, it might not reach, or the fingertips might reach down. Then we inhale, take that right arm up and over towards the left. Inhaling here, keeping that chest open towards the front. Exhale to stay. As we inhale, lift back up. Both arms up overhead. Exhale, bringing the hands down, tuck the back toes, stepping back to our downward dog. Walking through the feet once again. From here, we'll walk the feet all the way up towards the top of the mat. Feet can be hip distance apart, a little micro bend in the legs, and then let the body hang over the legs. Let the arms be heavy or taking a hold of opposite elbows, creating this little hammock, and swaying side to side, releasing that spine. Inhale here, breathe into the back. As you exhale, release again, maybe shake it out, shake the head. And then let those hands fall back down towards the mat. We're going to roll up to standing nice and slowly. See how slow you can take it, stacking the vertebrae on top of one another as you slowly roll all the way up to standing. The head comes up last. And once we get there, we roll the shoulders up towards the ears, down the back, arms by the sides, palms facing forwards, finding our strong Tadasana mountain pose. Tucking the pelvis under to lengthen out that lower back, reaching the crown of the head up, feeling that spine and that neck lengthen as well. Breathing here, inhale and exhale. We then inhale, lift the arms up overhead. As we exhale, want to circle the arms all the way back behind you and see if we can interlace the hands behind our backs. If they can't reach, that's okay, either taking a hold of clothing or maybe we have a yoga strap handy or something similar. We want to roll those shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Inhale here, lift the chest. Maybe the gaze can come up towards the ceiling. As we then exhale, we forward fold down towards the mat, letting those hands stay interlaced either just behind that lower back, or maybe they start to fall a little bit forwards towards the front of the room, opening through the shoulders. Having those legs nice and bent, taking a little bit of a twist here. You can take the hands over towards the right, and maybe that left leg can start to straighten just a bit. So we're opening the body over towards that left. You may notice that that right knee and right shoulder come a little closer together. And then bending into both legs, those hands come back up through center. And then taking them over towards the left this time, straightening the right leg. Inhale. And exhale back through center, bend into both legs. Release the hands where they are, let them fall back down towards the mat, shake it out. And then planting the hands down, stepping back to high plank position. Squeeze that core. Inhaling here, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga, shift forwards, lower the knees if you want to, lower down halfway. To the belly for cobra, or flipping onto the tops of the feet. Roll the shoulders back, straighten the arms, find upward facing dog. Exhale to take the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Once we're there, we inhale, rock forwards, find that high plank position once again. And we're going to come all the way down onto the belly. See how slow you can take yourself all the way down. Try not to collapse down. Untucking the toes. And from here, we're going to take those hands all the way back behind us, interlacing behind our backs once again. Once we're there, we inhale, roll the shoulders back. Start to lift the chest, using that lower back strength. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. We then inhale, using that core. Engage the legs, lift the feet, the knees, maybe even the thighs, everything drawing up and back. Inhale here. And exhale, lowering back down. You can bring the side of the cheek down towards the mat and just rock those hips side to side. Going through towards bow pose now. If we want, we start to bend the legs and see if we can take a hold of the feet with our hands. Either coming into this pose, or if we can't reach our feet, we can find that locust pose we just did before. What we want to do is we want to roll those shoulders back once again. Start to lift the chest using that lower back. And then here we start to kick the feet into the hands, feeling even more height and lift through the knees, drawing those shoulders together. Inhale here. Stay as we exhale, this opening through the back. And then releasing back down all the way onto the belly. Keeping the legs bent, we then take the feet side to side. Tick-tock those feet side to side. And then letting the feet fall back down. Keeping our head up at this end, we're going to roll all the way onto our backs. Just slowly taking ourselves, finding ourselves lying on our backs. And once we're there, we're going to plant the feet down just behind the hips. So knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Making sure that the feet are hip distance apart. And then here we inhale, press the feet down into the mat, lifting the hip bones up towards the ceiling. Drawing those hips nice and high, pressing through the heels of the feet. You can roll the shoulder blades or walk the shoulder blades underneath the body, pressing the backs of the arms down into the mat. If you want, you can interlace the hands again if that's available. And pressing into the backs of the arms, lift the hips a little higher. Inhale here. And exhale. Release. And just releasing the hands if they're interlaced. Everybody inhale, come up onto the toes, lift the heels. Exhale to roll down the back nice and slowly. Letting the left leg go out long, keeping the right knee into the chest, squeeze it in. Finding a deeper twist now, guiding that knee over towards the left hand side. We can take the right arm out towards the right. And if it's okay in the neck, the gaze can follow that hand. And to breathe into this twist now, inhale. Really big breath down into the belly. As you exhale, feel yourself melting into this twist. And again, inhaling. And exhaling. next inhale, come back through center. Switching the legs, bring that left knee into the chest, squeeze it in. And then guiding that knee over towards the right this time. And we can take that left arm out towards the side. See if we can get that gaze to follow that hand. Really feeling this ringing sensation through the spine. Breathing here, breathe into that belly, inhale. And exhale, release. And again, inhaling. And exhaling. And next inhale, come back through center. And from here, coming into our Shavasana. So we start to take the feet out towards the corners of the mat. Let the feet fall apart. Have the arms down by the sides, palms facing up. We have something to cover our eyes. Just pop that on now. Otherwise, we close our eyes. I just want you to start by taking a big breath in through the nose. Letting it fill all the way down into the belly, all the way up into the chest. And we hold at the top. And then I want you to open your mouth and sigh the breath out nice and loud. Feeling the body heavier against the ground. Just letting the breath go, coming back to its neutral or natural breathing pattern. And as we lie here, really feeling the body melting down into the ground. Starting with the toes and the feet, into the ankles and the calves, and the thighs, all the way up into the hips and the glutes. Melting away. And then your lower back and your core, all the way up into your chest, your shoulders. Feeling your arms and your fingers all melting away. And eventually into the neck and the head. And now just starting to bring that awareness back to the breath. Just finding some micro movements in the fingers and the toes. Slowly wiggling the fingers and toes. Circling the wrists and the ankles. Gradually starting to wake this body up. Slowly finding more movement. Take your breaths in. And you can bring your knees into your chest. Rolling over onto one side. And then in your own time, coming up to a comfortable seated position. And closing the eyes. And bringing the palms together at the chest. And just thank yourself for taking this time. Namaste.